So this song will make some sense in just a little bit. I like them chunky. All right, so let's finish up our second part of our flipped classroom and talk about some more ways that we encode information. How do we get information in? So again, these techniques and these strategies and these encoding processes are all meant to help you be a better student. In addition, these are important concepts for psychology. So it's a win-win, all right? So let's pick this back up and let's talk about mnemonics. And my guess is this is something that you have been doing in other classes for a long time. You just didn't know it was actually a psychology concept. So a mnemonic is imagery. And it's a way that it helps you to remember something, that it gives you vivid imagery to aid your memory. And so you see the example there of the spectrum, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, indigo violet. They added a color since I was in school. And you probably have your own method of remembering the sequence of those colors. For me, it was Roy got beaten intensely, violently. I don't think that that's a very appropriate way to remember things in this day and age. You probably have your own mnemonic for the spectrum of colors. But a mnemonic is an important concept. I will flood your brain with mnemonics this year. And some of them are going to seem really silly, but trust me, seek out AP Psychology students from past years, and they will tell you they wished they had written down Puente's mnemonics. Clue number one, to be a successful student in my class. So let's keep going. So there are a few different types of mnemonics. There's 3 mnemonics that I'm going to go over in this PowerPoint. The first one is called the method of loci or loci. And loci means location. And the method of loci involves imagining moving through a familiar series of locations with the items you need to remember. It's a method of location and remembering those locations. So the example here is you have a list of items that I would like for you to bring to AP Psychology. And the way that you're going to remember them is you're going to attach something familiar with those items. So a paintbrush, football, pom-poms, textbook, and a laptop. I need you to bring those to AP Psychology. So the way that you're going to remember them is you're going to remember different teachers' locations on campus. So Mr. Robledo helps you remember the paintbrush. Coach Gracia, your football. Mr. Reeves, your pom-poms, the librarian for your textbook, and Miss Clark, because she has a cart of laptops in her room. So you might not be familiar with all of those items, but you are familiar with those teachers and what those teachers represent. So if you can remember those locations and imagine moving through those locations, it will help you remember the items that you need to bring. So again, this is an appropriate mnemonic for certain things, maybe not for others. And it helps some people and it doesn't do anything for other people. But it is an important type of mnemonic that you do need to be aware of. So the method of loci. The second type is what we call a peg word mnemonic. And I will be honest, for the first year I taught psychology, I didn't understand this one. I looked at the explanation and it confused me a little. And then I had somebody explain it to me. And all of a sudden, it clicked for me. So peg word is used to memorize a list that needs to be in order. Sometimes it's important to remember things in a particular order. So an object or an image is visualized, which holds or pegs the information that needs to be recalled and makes it easier to remember. So the example will clarify that definition. So the first thing you have to memorize is the little jingle that goes along with the peg word system. And that is 1 is a bun, 2 is a shoe, 3 is a tree, 4 is a door. Do you hear how they rhyme? 1 and bun, 2 and shoe. So now I want you to visualize the first thing on your list, and it's going to be a bun. Picture some type of bun. And the second thing, number 2, is a shoe. So you picture a shoe. Now take a look at the list of the items that you are remembering. Let's say your mom has given you a list of items at the grocery store that she wants you to get. So your list of items: lettuce, banana, cheese, and tomatoes. It's not a long list. You could probably remember that all by yourself, but we're going to use peg words to help you out. So 1 is a bun. I want you to picture lettuce on the bun. Lettuce on the bun. And the next thing, 2, number 2 on your list, is the banana. 2 is a shoe. So for me, I'm going to remember a banana stuck in my shoe. So 1 is a bun. I have a bun with lettuce on it. 2 is a shoe, and we have a visitor in our little video today. Oreo. What can I say? 2 is a shoe. The banana stuck in the shoe. 3 is a tree. Cheese. Personally, I'm just going to see one big slap of cheese on the trunk. And 4 is the door. Tomato. And it's not a very nice image, but I'm going to picture someone just heaving a tomato at the door. Splatters all over. So I get to the store. 1 is a bun. The bun has lettuce. 2 is a shoe. Oh, the shoe with the banana. 3 is a tree. I got that piece of cheese slapped on the tree trunk. And 4 is the door, the tomato thrown against the door. It's a little creative storytelling. I've done some effortful encoding of that information, and now I'm going to remember the grocery list. So method of loci was the first one. Peg word is the second one. The third type of mnemonic is what's called the link method. And really the link method just involves forming some type of mental image in your mind of the particular items you need to remember and come up with some way that links them all together. So you see this list of items here: newspapers, shaving cream, pen, umbrella, and a lamp. And somehow in your mind you make a mental image that connects all of those items together. That's the link method. And finally, we have something that's called chunking. Now you understand the song at the beginning. But chunking involves organizing information by combining them into clusters. It's much simpler to remember things in small numbers. So take a look at that number listed there. There's no commas or anything. It's one big long number. Can you remember that? How you doing? It's a little overwhelming. I wouldn't be able to do it. But now, if you're familiar with history, it might be a little bit easier there, okay? So now look at those numbers. And if you break it down with some of those important years in history, you might have an easier time remembering the number. Can you see it? Can you see how chunking helps you organize information by combining them into clusters? Think of remembering phone numbers, and think about how we say things like our social security number and our driver's license number. It's much easier to do things in smaller clusters of information. Another example of chunking is when we use things like acronyms. So the Great Lakes, and you use the acronym HOMES, HOMES, Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, Superior. You may not know the location of those, but I did teach geography. I have a little trick. But you could at least using HOMES, an acronym, a type of chunking, and that might help you to remember the Great Lakes. There are going to be a number of acronyms that you're going to want to utilize this year in AP Psychology. Take a look at the list of ingredients to buy at the store. Do you see a logical way to organize that list into some clusters? What'd you come up with? Possibly wet and dry ingredients. That might be a logical way to combine that information. So there you go. That is the end of our encoding lesson. And just because I can, I'm going to play the song again. All right, great job, AP Psychology. See you later.